Imagine this. You're in a sold-out theater, anticipation thick in the air. The house lights fade, the orchestra hits that first haunting note, and the curtain rises on Evita, one of Broadway's most legendary productions. The audience leans in, buzzing with excitement, because tonight, center stage is none other than Rachel Zegler. Yes, that Rachel Zegler, the same actress who set the internet ablaze with her controversial Snow White remarks. But just when the magic is supposed to begin, disaster strikes. Midway through the show, without a whisper of warning, Rachel vanishes. No announcement, no transition, no explanation. Just gone. The lead actress walks off, and the entire theater freezes. People glance at each other, confused, whispering, "Did that really just happen? This wasn't a wardrobe malfunction. This wasn't a missed cue." This was a full-blown disappearance, and it sent shockwaves through the audience. Social media lit up within minutes. What happened? Was she sick? Was it nerves? Or was this something far deeper, something Rachel, her team, and even the production itself didn't want to admit? But to understand how we even got here, we need to rewind. Just a few years ago, Rachel Zegler was being hailed as Hollywood's next Golden Girl. She had the voice, the Disney glow, and the promise of stardom in the palm of her hand. Landing Snow White was supposed to be her crowning moment, Disney's bold live-action reimagining of a timeless classic. A sure bet. A legacy-defining role. But Rachel? Hey, she didn't just try to reinvent the character. She declared war on the original. In press interviews, she labeled the original 1937 Snow White as creepy, outdated, and anti-feminist. She mocked the love story, slammed the prince as a stalker, and made it crystal clear her version of Snow White wasn't going to be about charm, dreams, or true love. No, this was going to be about power, independence, and smashing old fairy tales. 2 pieces. The reaction? Explosive. What started as bold marketing spiraled into a PR nightmare. Lifelong Disney fans, casual moviegoers, and even commentators on both sides of the political aisle turned on her. What Rachel framed as empowerment came off especially to Disney's core audience as arrogance. She wasn't modernizing the fairy tale, she was dismantling nostalgia. And audiences weren't having it. She wasn't promoting a film. She was burning a legacy. Now, fast forward to Evita. A second chance, a stage, a new audience, redemption maybe. But instead of a comeback, Rachel Zegler delivered another headline-grabbing excitan this time. There was no script to hide behind. Social media went nuclear. Hashtags started trending within hours. People were demanding refunds, calls to boycott. Disney surged online. And when the film finally dropped in theaters, it didn't just underperform, it collapsed. Critics slammed it. Fans walked out. And box office numbers, abysmal. Theaters were practically deserted. Showings were so empty, some cinemas started yanking it from screens after just one weekend. Disney lost millions, possibly over $300 million after marketing. And while movies flop all the time, this one came with a face. And that face was Rachel Zegler. Whether fair or not, she became the scapegoat. The villain. The girl who trashed a fairy tale and got burned by the same fire she started. Now, you'd think after a catastrophe like that, most stars would go silent. Lay low, maybe regroup, let the smoke clear. But Rachel, oh no, she went the opposite route. Instead of taking a break, she launched into one of the most grueling roles. In musical theater history, Eva Perón in Evita, the real-life Argentine icon. A role packed with emotion, range, and power. A part that demands presence, control, charisma. If Snow White was supposed to be her Hollywood breakout, Evita was her redemption arc, her comeback. It's a big stage where she could prove the haters wrong, silence the critics, and remind everyone that Rachel Zegler wasn't just a controversy magnet, she was a talent. And at first, it looked like the gamble might actually work. Her casting made headlines. ticket sales spiked. Buzz started building in the theater world. Social media flipped from dragging her to cautiously curious. Was Rachel really about to turn the narrative around? Some fans came to support her. Others came to watch a train wreck in real time. But either way, seats were full. Attention was high and all eyes were on Rachel. Then came July 24, 2025. She had already performed. In the afternoon matinee, no drama, no issues. Everything ran smooth. But during the evening show, the one with the VIPs, the superfans, the press, everything unraveled. The evening was supposed to be flawless, but halfway through Act 1, something snapped. Right in the middle of a key, Senrich walked off the stage. No announcement, no graceful bow, no warning. She simply vanished. Confusion spread through the theater like wildfire. The lights didn't come up, no explanation came. Just a long, awkward pause. Then came the extended intermission. People stared at their phones. Ushers whispered among each other. The audience waited. And waited. And finally, a voice came over the loudspeaker. Rachel Zegler would not be returning. Her understudy, Bella Brown, would finish the show. And just like that, chaos. Online footage exploded within minutes. Theatergoers pulled out their phones. Clips hit TikTok, Reddit, and Twitter faster than Disney could draft a press release. The official excuse: illness. But here's the thing, nobody bought it. She was sick? Why perform the matinee just hours earlier with no issue? And why show up on stage for the evening show at all just to vanish halfway through? Speculation ignited like gasoline. Some said it was nerves. Others whispered about a backstage blow-up, a screaming match with crew members. A few even claimed she stormed out over a creative disagreement about the direction of the show. Whatever it was, it didn't look good. Because this wasn't just an off night. This was a career-defining moment, not the kind you want. In theater, consistency is everything. A leading star walking off mid-show isn't just disruptive, that sends shockwaves through the entire cast, crew, and audience. And with Rachel Zegler, those shockwaves turned into an avalanche. Broadway forums lit up overnight. Reddit threads were flooded with theories, screenshots, timelines, memes. Fans posted footage from just hours before curtain showing Rachel backstage, laughing, chatting, looking completely fine. Not a hint of illness. No signs of exhaustion. And that only poured gasoline on the fire. The phrase "replaced mid-show" started trending, and the more people talked, the worse it got. Then came the footage of Bella Brown, the understudy. Composed, polished, commanding. She stepped in cold and nailed the role. One viral clip showed her belting out "Don't Cry for Me, Argentina," with stunning emotion and receiving a standing ovation. Ouch, it was like watching someone else silently take your crown in real time, and the internet. Ruthless comment. After comment comparing the two women, some even saying Bella's performance was stronger. Others claimed they didn't even notice Rachel was missing. Brutal. In the aftermath, Rachel tried to reclaim the narrative. She posted a heartfelt note praising understudies and swings for keeping the show alive. But to most fans, it felt like pure PR spin. Too polished, too timed, too late. The damage was already done. Why? Because this wasn't just about one night in a theater. It was about everything that came before it. The baggage she carried from the Snow White disaster still clung to her like glitter you can't wash off. Remember, Snow White didn't just flop, it bombed. Disney poured over $250 million into it. By the fourth weekend, it had barely made back half. Theaters began pulling it off screens quietly. Online, people were snapping photos of empty rows. During weekend showings, photos of empty seats told the whole story. This wasn't just a flop, it was a disaster. A $250 million Disney embarrassment, and Rachel Zegler was now the face of it. Her interviews trashing the original Snow White only made things worse. She didn't just critique a classic, she tore into something people grew up loving. And then she gave them a film they didn't even want. So when her Broadway disaster exploded, it didn't feel like a fluke. It felt familiar. Deja vu. Another huge opportunity. Another very public implosion. And this time, even her usual defenders went silent. Yes, Nicola Coughlan posted a brief Instagram story praising Rachel's talent and calling her brilliant. But that tiny flicker of support was drowned out by a tsunami of criticism. No one was listening to celebrity shout-outs anymore. Backstage rumors started surfacing. Whispers of a rocky rehearsal period. Disagreements with directors. Allegations that Rachel pushed for changes that hadn't been approved by producers. One source even claimed there was leaked footage of her being escorted off stage, but that video hasn't surfaced yet. Still, the smoke was thick enough to suggest fire. And here's the brutal truth. Broadway is unforgiving. Directors talk. Producers compare notes. Stage managers remember. You walk off mid-performance and create chaos backstage. That sticks. And when someone's reputation starts being labeled as difficult, unpredictable, or unstable, those doors don't just close, they slam shut. Because in showbiz, talent alone doesn't cut it. You need reliability, consistency, trust. And that's where Rachel's entire public image is starting to collapse. The downfall isn't about ability, it's about dependability. And right now, that's exactly what people are questioning. Rachel's mid-show disappearance happened at the worst possible moment. Her image was already cracking. Her reputation was already teetering. This wasn't just a poorly timed sick day. This became a symbol of a disturbing pattern. Step into the spotlight, say the wrong thing, mishandle the backlash, and vanish the moment the pressure peaks. It's not just disappointing, it's defining. And that's what makes this so much more than a headline. It's a character arc, unfolding in real life. Not on screen, not in a musical, but in full public view. The rise, the fall, the fallout. Hollywood is full of redemption stories. We've seen it. Actors come back from breakdowns, box office bombs, even scandals. What separates those who bounce back from those who don't? Ownership, growth, and silence. 3 things Rachel Zegler still hasn't mastered. They say anyone can fall, but only a few know how to rise from it. Some stars face the fallout head-on. They own their mistakes, evolve, and come back stronger, wiser, rebranded. Others, they buckle. They vanish under the pressure, hiding behind silence, spin, or staged apologies. And right now, Rachel Zegler is standing right at that fork in the road. Her next move could define everything. Does she finally speak candidly, really? Candidly about what went wrong? About vanishing mid-performance, the Snow White backlash, the lessons she's actually learned? Or does she retreat behind the same carefully crafted PR posts, hoping time will wash it all away? Audiences, especially today's audiences, aren't dumb. They see the patterns. They smell the spin. And the worst thing a public figure can do in a storm like this is pretend it's not raining. Right now, every studio exec, every Broadway producer, every major casting director is watching her next step. Not because they hate her, but because they need to know. Can she be trusted? Not just to perform, but to show up, to rehearse, to take notes, to lead. Because in this business, viral fame only goes so far. You can trend, you can headline. Can you deliver every night, every take, every time? That's what matters. And Rachel Zegler, right now she's a massive question mark. There's no doubt she has talent. It's never been the issue. What's in question now is everything else: her consistency, her maturity, her ability to weather the pressure without self-destructing. If she wants to climb out of this storm, it won't be through another flashy role or sympathy post. It won't be a musical comeback, a red carpet moment, or a clip that goes viral. It'll come down to something way less glamorous and more important, steady effort, quiet resilience, grit. Not a flawless performance, not a tearful apology, just showing up. And sticking it out. Because in this town, flash fades, but grit sticks. And that might be the only thing that can. Save Rachel Zegler now.